Hello my friends, welcome to the Innovation Lab. So I've made a lot of videos showing how you can use this constant current DC to DC boost converter to actually build a very cheap and affordable and also very efficient universal charger that can charge a lot of batteries, different voltage ratings. So nowadays, given that a lot of things are actually battery powered, so different people would need to charge different kinds of batteries, have asked me about if it's going to be possible to, in a way, boost the output voltage of this DC to DC boost converter to kind of go beyond the manufacturer rating. So the manufacturer rating for this guy is 12 to 90 volts. So is it possible? Can we boost it higher than that? And how high can we go? So that's going to be our focus for this experiment, to see if we can drive this output higher by changing some of the components and see how high we can go. So for this experiment, the target for this experiment is going to be 150 volts DC. So all right, so let's get to it. And before we move forward, if you like videos like this, I've made a lot of videos showing how you can do things like this, and I plan to make more, and I have many more projects coming up. So if you like videos like this, don't forget to subscribe to the Innovation Lab so you get notified as we release these videos, and also like and share our videos to help us out with the YouTube algorithm. All right, my friends, so let's get to it. So the first thing I already did this before I started the video, was to pull the potentiometer that was here. Yeah, so this is for the voltage adjustment. So we say where it says CV, which stands for constant voltage. So I still have the constant current adjustment potentiometer on the board. So now what we're going to do is to take the board apart, and so we can access the drive MOSFETs and the diodes, and so we can look at them and see the ratings. Removing the fan and the heatsink. So there you have it. So this here is the drive MOSFET, and I believe that this here is the rectification, output rectification diodes. For the drive MOSFET, we will be more interested in looking at the drain to source voltage rating, and we'll look at depending on how high we need to go. Say for example, if we need to go to 150 volts, so we need to make sure that this VDS is rated above 150 volts. And also the diodes, so we look at the current rating and the I believe the forward or the reverse voltage rating on the diodes, the rectifier diodes. All right, so let's go ahead and flip them and see what they're rated for. So now we have it all taken apart, and before we get into the looking at the components, I would like to state that my target voltage that I want to get to for this experiment will be 150 volts DC, and that will be what will help us guide us through the components that we're going to use to replace these guys here, or to see if this guy is the MOSFET, mostly the MOSFET and the diode, the rectifier diodes, will be sufficient. Maybe we just leave them on, so we'll see. So going from the left, we'll have what looks like a linear regulator. So we're now going to replace that. It's on the input side of the DC to DC boost converter, so we leave it alone. So then after that, we have this drive or switching MOSFET here. So this is looking at the part number, this is the HY3912, and is an N-channel MOSFET, and it has a drain to source voltage of 125 volts and VGS of plus or minus 25 volts, and it has a power rating at 25 degrees Celsius of 349 watts. So because of our target voltage, which is 150, and is higher than the rated drain to source voltage, so we're gonna have to replace it. So for that, we're going to consider using the IRFP264. So, and let's look at the ratings for the IRFP264. So the IRFP264 is rated for a drain to source voltage of 250 volts, and it has a VGS, which is gate to source voltage of plus or minus 20, which should be good, and it has a power dissipation rating of 280 watts. So I believe that the IRFP264 should be good, especially given that at higher voltage we'll be driving lower current. So let's go ahead and give that a try. So another thing that we need to replace will be the filter caps here. So these caps are rated, as you can see here, these are 470 100 volts caps, and there's 3 of them at the output. And because we're going to be exceeding these values, if we actually drive this to 150 volts, so we're gonna have to replace those with higher voltage capacitors with higher voltage rating. So these here are the electrolytic caps that I'm considering using. These are 450 volts by 470, so which kind of matches the same capacitance that was used here, but these are kind of massive. So I will see if they will fit, or if there's a way I can fit them, or I can use something else that I can salvage from an old power supply from here. So the next component here that we're going to look at, actually I almost skipped that one, will be actually the most one of the most important ones will be the rectifier diode. So the rectifier diode here, it's kind of hard to read these part numbers with my camera, but these are, the part number is 22100 CT. So these are actually trench based Schottky rectifiers, and they have a forward current of 20 amps and the DC blocking voltage, which is actually the critical spec that we need to look at for this exercise, this DC blocking voltage of 100 volts. Now if we drive this to 150 volts, we're going to fry this guy here. It's not going to work. We're going to kill them. So because of that, we are going to have to replace them with also luckily I have these guys here. These are MUR 3060 PT, and these are actually rated for, they have a forward current of 30 amps and a maximum DC blocking voltage of 600 volts. So if we go to 150 volts, they should perform efficiently. And actually these are fast recovery diodes as well, so they should be able to perform very well. All right, so let's get to it and see what this all looks like when we put everything together. So this here shows the DC to DC boost converter with all the changes that I've made, basically to convert it to a high voltage constant current DC to DC boost converter. You can see the massive capacitors there. So I basically changed the capacitors that was there before to high voltage rated capacitor. As you can see here, I changed them to 450 volts, the same 470 microfarad. And I changed the diodes and the drive MOSFETs, as I mentioned earlier. All right, so this is what this setup is going to look like. So in a nutshell, going over the setup, so we have our high voltage DC to DC boost converter, our constant current converter, plus the voltage adjustment. So up here we have the server power supply that was going to give us 24 volts going into the boost converter input. And here we have our lithium phosphate pack. These two will give us 24 volts, 12 and 12. So here we have a 48 volt pack, and these are lead acid battery packs, 12 volts each. And here we have our 26 volts lithium ion pack that I built a while back. And here we have our 24 volts lithium phosphate pack. I would like to say that you're not supposed to charge your batteries this way. You're not supposed to mix different battery chemistries because you could have a problem, because these guys, the lithium phosphate batteries, are designed to handle a lot of high current charging. These guys are not. These guys are limited. So because of that, I'm only doing it here because I'm very conversant with charging systems and battery charging and battery chemistries. So I highly recommend that you don't do this. I'm doing it just to test this, the high voltage charger, the performance, and I'm going to keep an eye on my charging current and make sure I don't exceed 4 amps, just to protect the lead acid batteries. All right. So all of this, how many volts do I need to charge this? So if you do the math, so you have 24, 48, 26, and 24. I believe the nominal voltage we expect is about 122, but that doesn't mean that that's what we need to charge them. So we need to higher voltage to charge them. So I have done the math and I came up to about 146 volts that is needed, and the reason for that is I will need about 30 volts to charge the LiPo pack, this LiPo pack. I will need about 56 volts to charge this lead acid battery pack, 30 volts here and another 30 volts here. So if you do the math, so we come up to about 146 volts that is needed. So now we're going to adjust the DC to DC boost converter output when we turn it on to give us 146 volts. Then we tune down the current so not to exceed 4 amps, just to protect the lead acid batteries here. All right, let's get to it. All right, the first thing we're going to do is to see if we actually can adjust this high voltage DC to DC boost converter up to our target, which was the 150 volts DC. So right now we are at 123 volts. So let's give it a try. So we're at 125, 130, and now 138, 140. So I say let's stop there for now at 140 and bring in the batteries and see how they behave. So now the batteries are in, and I had the current adjustment set very low. So just to play it safe, we don't want to slam the system with high currents. So now let's try to adjust the charging current to see what happens. Okay, there was a little bit of noise there until we got to about 1.9 and about 2 amps. So let's see how high we can go with this. All right, so as you saw during the testing, as I was adjusting the output current, the moment we exceeded 2 amps, I think I might have overloaded the drive MOSFET, the IRFP264 that I was using. Maybe my calculations for the power rating for that MOSFET was wrong. So as we exceeded 2 amps, I blew my fuses on that, and that was the loud pop that you would have heard in the video. So I will be doing some more research to see what high voltage MOSFET will work the best to optimize the performance of this unit. All right, I am glad you made it to this point in the video. As I showed you guys in the beginning, one of the things I did to raise the voltage was to remove the voltage adjustment potentiometer that came with the unit, which was a 200K small potentiometer. And the reason why I'm going with this is because this is easily adjustable, and so you don't have to use a screwdriver every time. Also, you would need to add a 100K resistor in line with or in series with this external potentiometer to allow you to raise that voltage. And you can just do this by following the schematic that I have up on the screen. It's very simple and very straightforward. All right, my friends, we have come to the end of this experimental project video. In my opinion, I would say that this project was a success. We set out to figure out if it will be possible to raise the output voltage of this DC to DC boost converter from the limit of 12 to 95 to possibly 12 to 150 volts. So as you saw in the video, we were able to do just that. So because of that, I would say that this was a success. Also, we were able to put some load on it, which was above 200 watts, and we were able to use it to charge some batteries at about 2 amps of charging current. So I will say that this project is a success. I will be doing more modifications to figure out the best type of MOSFET that will give me the optimum power that I need using this setup. All right, thanks again for watching. I'll see you in the next video.